I have something to see, so I hope you can see these. I'm the kind of person that when I take a walk, I like to stop and turn over rocks and see what lives underneath, or pick up something that's particularly nice and study it. And one thing that fascinates me are feathers. And if you have one close by, you might want to go get it so you can hold it while we do this. Now, this feather looks pretty plain. It's kind of gold on one side, and it's blue when you turn it right on the other side. But if you turn it the wrong way, the blue turns to black. I was doing some studying on the internet and found out why, but it's much too complicated for me to remember. But I looked at that feather and thought, God painted that feather just so. I wonder how in the world he did it. Because he can't paint the whole thing at once. It's not made of one piece, it's made of many. And if you pull on your feather, it will come apart, and you can see that every little bit is painted in itself. Now, one day I was down at the National Zoo, and I was going through the bird exhibit, and I found a feather on the ground, and it fascinated me. I looked up and saw nearby a bird called a guinea fowl. I had never seen a guinea fowl. They're about the size of a pretty good-sized chicken. But they don't have feathers just like a chicken. They have feathers with polka dots on them. Now, this one has just plain polka dots. And if you think about it, you think, I could draw a feather that looks like this with polka dots on it. That would be easy. But I wonder, could you paint a feather so that when it's pulled apart, each piece still makes a polka dot? Then one day, one year, I went to South Africa, and I got to see these birds for real. Now, they don't sound too great. They make an awful lot of racket, and they like to live up in the trees. But I found a feather on the ground, and I picked it up, and I thought, wow, that feather doesn't just have polka dots. It has circles around the polka dots. Can we see that picture? Is it possible to look at it again? It is so tiny, you barely see the lines around it. Can you see the lines, the little squares around each dot? How in the world did God make that feather? Oh, I gathered up a lot. In fact, I was gathering some up when a young man from the university where I was visiting came by and thought I had lost something. And I told him, no, I would like to get some nice guinea fowl feathers. Now, there they go like, what? That's like asking for a chicken feather. Who wants one? But the next day, he knocked at my door, and he said, I brought you something. And he brought me a whole bag of guinea fowl feathers. You can see a feather here that looks like it was dipped into what? Gray or tan paint. How in the world did God make that? There are online explanations if you'd like to watch them. Unfortunately, they don't give God the credit for designing these amazing feathers. And I wondered, okay, God has made each piece of this feather to hold just the right amount of white and just the right amount of black and the circle, that when a bird takes his beak and rubs it over, and you've seen birds doing this, I'm sure, all those feathers go right back into place and the design is perfect. Then I began to wonder, what keeps those little pieces of the feather hooked together? And I did some research, and I found a little diagram online that shows how that's done. Do you have tennis shoes on right now? Do they have do they have ties, or do they have the Velcro pieces that you can just push across and they stay hooked? Well, Velcro is the reason the feathers stay in place. When a bird preens its feathers and runs its beak across it, he's hooking those hooks and eyes back together. So when he flies, the feathers won't go every which way and make him fall to the ground. They stay where they belong because God made them just so. Now, I want to challenge you today as you go about your day, and it's a beautiful day to do this. Go out and look for a feather or find one around your home and pull it carefully apart and see how every little piece of that feather clings to the one next to it, how it forms a Velcro that only God could make. Thank you for listening, and remember, everything that God makes is beauty in a special way.